So with Dune, Pop Culture Omniversa here, your host Eric. So cons with Godzilla versus King Kong out and people loving it or hating it depending on how you look at it. I haven't seen the movie yet, but there has been this once again fight going on behind the scenes at WarnerMedia and Legendary Pictures regarding the Dune release. So back in December, HBO Max, to recap, HBO Max and WarnerMedia announced that all theatrical films slated for 2021 would all come to the HBO Max streaming platform free of charge on top of the subscription you're already paying for it. Then they announced there would be a cut down subscription, ad supported one that you still have to pay money for, but it would not cover the theatrical releases that come out on the streaming platform. And there's two things that I was wondering about this. So when I first heard this announcement, I was like, okay, that's pretty exciting. But will it work in terms of, well, how will the studios feel? The ones that are not owned by Warner Media, because Warner Media would have that say in controlling everything they can do and release, and they ultimately decide. But Legendary Pictures, yeah, they were not happy about this report when this was announced because they apparently had no advance notice beforehand when this was made, so they weren't told, "Oh, we're gonna release Dune on HBO Max and Godzilla versus Kong." So yeah, this is what the report. So this is part of the whole reports that were going on at the time. I'm between then and now. Legendary's fight against Warner Brothers could save Dune from HBO Max report. According to Deadline and IndieWire, Legendary is in a big fight that might result in lawsuits after it financed 75% of Ted polls, Dune and Godzilla vs. Kong, and was completely blindsided. Rumors have the solution that to the breach being to preserve Dune as a traditional theatrical release to preserve its franchise potential, since its October 1st release date falls well after the estimated late spring date when COVID vaccines should achieve herd immunity. Godzilla vs. Kong might stay an HBO Max hybrid and its May 21st slot, but only Warner Brothers can makes a deal with Legendary that uses as a base to the $250 million value established when the film was shopped earlier to Netflix. Dune originally reported that Legendary's biggest issue with moving Dune to a hybrid release model was that it could impact the long-term commercial viability for the franchise. Dune, directed by the guy who made Arrival and made Blade Runner 2049, which were damn good. That's the only reason why I'm hyped up for Dune. I never watched any of the movies or watched the TV shows that were made of that, but I have read some of the recent comics that have been made by Boom Studio in preparation for this. And I'm looking at Dune and I'm thinking it's being made by the guy who made Arrival and made Blade Runner 2049, which were pretty goddamn good movies. But yeah, when I heard this, I was like, the fact that they didn't tell Legendary, like, here's the thing. When I heard this, like, for a consumer, it's pretty damn awesome. We're gonna get all these big movies on streaming with no additional fees. Though it feels like there were like three problems here. This looks like a reactionary move. Like, one, because COVID's a problem and therefore theatrical releases might be impacted. And after what happened with Tenet, they were like, we can't risk that thing again. We don't know what's gonna look like from a year from now. So that's a probably reactionary move on that. But the other reason is because HBO Max is competing with Disney Plus, which is the largest Mongolian Empire-sized streaming platform going on right now. Yeah, Disney rules the world. And Dune was like, we need to, and people from HBO and Warner Media were probably thinking, we need something big. We need to do something big that Disney isn't doing. So Disney, when they delayed some of the movies or outright canceled them for theatrical releases, they put them on the streaming platform, but added a premium cost to it. And then later on, a couple of months from now, would go ahead and become for free for the users who already subscribed to it, but didn't pay for the premium price. But Disney can't afford that. Warner Media, I always keep hearing these stories of AT&T and T and Warner Media and how they've had issues financially despite their position in the market. But Disney, they could do whatever they want. They could go ahead and make the worst thing ever, and it would probably barely scratch their dent because they have a stake in comics, they have a stake in and gaming. They have a stake in licenses. They basically rule everything. WarnerMedia is pretty much the last outlaw trying to fight the Disney corporate machine. Since they took out Fox. So, yeah, there is a problem with Dune because even the people at Warner Bros. Were still unsure. Last we heard on April 5th today that they were still unsure about the HBO Max release plan. So this is the thing I was thinking when I heard this. I was thinking, okay, they should have reached out to Warner Media. That Warner Media should have reached out to Legendary about this whole idea, saying, look, we want to release Dune on HBO Max and on theaters. Do you want to do that? I feel like, if I'm correct, let me just double check just to be certain. Pictures. I'm just double checking on something. Okay, so they're not owned by Warner Media. They have an agreement with them, but they're not owned by Warner Bros. And Warner Media. Therefore, they can do what they want. So I feel like I know like certain movies they own and franchises and properties, they have a right to release it whether or not under their under their banner. But when it came to like a third party studio that was releasing something that was published by them, I felt like that should have probably been talked about before they thought, hey, let's not tell them we're doing this and then let them get pissed off later. And yeah, the director, stars, and Legendary Entertainment were all angry about this, expressing their disappointment with the decision. And it was previously rumored last December that Legendary was planning to sue Warner Media in order to challenge the HBO Max release of Godzilla vs. Kong, which clearly did not happen, and the highly anticipated Dune. Despite this, both movies continue to be part of the promos for Warner Bros. Simultaneous release project. However, it seems the current recovery of the theater chains and the resurgence of moviegoing experience might soon come into explain due to the recent box office success of Godzilla vs. Kong. According to the airline, there's still a possibility that the movie is going that Dune might stick to original theatrical release plan, as Warner Bros. And Legendary are reportedly still undecided about whether the pick should also debut on HBO Max or not. With Godzilla vs. Kong's promising opening numbers, it's likely that Warner might heavily consider keeping Dune only in theaters. So this is the thing. So right now it does look like they are considering going back to theater mode for Dune, at least, because they see the most franchise potential with that. Though that does say something concerning when it comes to Mortal Kombat and how they look at the Monsterverse. The Monsterverse has been doing pretty well from what I've heard, but when it comes to Mortal Kombat, when people want to see Mortal Kombat, and they delayed it a week just so they can tie it with the Mortal Kombat release date game that came out a year or so prior. Yeah, that is the thing. But I'm a little worried about this because now it's like when they made this announcement, I feel like they should have just cut out all the third party studios they hire to make movies, and we're like, we don't know if they're on board with it. I feel like they should have thought that part through. I'm not a businessman. I have no degree in business, so I probably don't know what the hell is going on in the corporate world. But if this could result in lawsuit, that's a concerning problem. But yeah, this has been a debacle. People have been trying to wonder. Like, I probably will not be going to theaters for a while until we get 100% cured the world vaccinations with. Like, I've already taken my vaccine as last I checked, but I feel like we have to like wait it out before I could ever think about going back to theaters. As a consumer, I get that we want this kind of stuff on the streaming service, but as a business, our plan is to make money, and we need money. And Dune, having been hyped up by people, originally set to come out back in last year. I get why they delayed it for an entire year, especially Batman, and because that got delayed for 2 years essentially due to the whole fiasco with COVID and the actors themselves getting it, and they had to shut down production on several occasions. But with this added issue where Dune could become more for HBO Max and Warner Media and Legendary, how it could become more than just one or two movies, I'm like, granted, it's annoying that they're probably aiming for a shared universe concept. Like, I get Dune is a massive, massive book, but come on. So we're gonna have to see where that goes, but it is concerning. I get it. I get it's concerning for some people at Warner Media that okay, we have this massive movie we've been investing in. We need this to be a franchise potential, hopefully. Like like people probably don't complain about, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the directors were mad, but it was more like, whereas Legendary is its own limited liability company, and Legendary has been a subsidiary of the Chinese conglomerate Wanda Group. Yeah, that's the thing. And they only have like a co-produce and co-finance deal with Warner Brothers and Universal Pictures. They have more of a say in this, especially since they rolled out most of the budget on that. Like, Dune, like they tried making Dune before, that failed miserably, and this cost 165 million, and we're not even counting marketing and how much that could have cost. But yeah, there have been talks about doing a planned spin-off series, and yeah, this is the thing. I feel like they should have thought that through, like, before they made this big announcement. Like, I know from the whole, we need to get streaming content to succeed. We need to beat Disney Plus. We need to defeat them. We need to build up our catalog, and like the Snyder Cut probably wasn't enough for them, especially since they said some things about the new Gods movie instead of blaming it because how oh god, how they went in so far as to say that, oh, we can't do a new Gods movie because it's Zack Snyder's fault because he put Darkseid in his movie. Yeah, that was a whole mess of bullshit. So yeah, I feel like this should have been thought through a little bit more on the Dune part. Like, they should have just said a select couple of movies as an experiment to start it off, and then start going ahead and moving forward with doing more and more movies. But again, I am not the executives. I am not a businessman. I do not know much about the inner politics other than what I'm being told from reports. But yeah, that's about it on my side on this whole debacle. We're gonna have to see if Dune will still be an HBO Max release hybrid, but it could also not be. We'll have to see. I If it goes to theaters, I'm probably not gonna go and see it and not cover it until it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD. But if it goes on HBO Max, I am gonna watch it because that is a movie I'm actually interested in. If for no other reason, because the director is awesome. So, like I said, we'll have to see where that goes. So, this was Neo Reality Entertainment Pop Culture Omniversa. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out my other content in the description below. I'll see y'all next time. Stay tuned for more. Peace and take care, everybody, and do not fear.